Bob Papa, the voice of the Giants, and he joins us right now. Bob, are you excited for the start, or are you saying slow down, one more week?
Well, it means that summer's coming to an end pretty quickly, but yeah, there is a lot of excitement. So many changes with this Giants team, and I think Dave Gettleman and Pat Shurmur finally have a roster that they're looking for as far as their team chemistry is concerned. They made changes to the offensive line, but now they got to do it on the field, and we're looking forward throughout the course of the year of bringing great programming to MSG with the New York Giants each and every week, starting next Thursday with Giants Training Camp Live.
And as you guys always do, and obviously the biggest story is going to be, or the main storyline is going to be the quarterback position. We had Phil Simms on earlier this week discussing what he sees at the quarterback position with Eli Manning and the rookie Daniel Jones.
I really believe that Eli Manning, his position, his knowledge, they've put a really good team around him on the offensive side. I think he has a chance to have maybe one of his best years of his career. Pat Shurmur did a pretty good job with Case Keenum up in Minnesota, and I think the talent that Eli has around him with New York is better than what Case Keenum had in Minnesota. So I really think it's set up for Eli to have a good year, and if the chance comes up that maybe it's not going well, they lose games, things like that, then Daniel Jones, if they think they can give him a shot somewhere during the year, they'll take it, but only if the Giants, I think, are out of the race.
Bob, Phil feels like the Giants' future is so bright he's got to wear those shades. But what are you seeing in that discussion? There's been so much debate about what the Giants should do at quarterback, whether Eli's the guy to stick with, or if things go wrong, get right to the rookie. What are you expecting?
Well, I think Eli Manning is going to have a really good year this year because, first and foremost, they've addressed the offensive line issues. Year number 2 for Saquon Barkley, and obviously with the trade of Odell Beckham Jr., you're losing a star wide receiver. But let's not sleep on Golden Tate. Although he's a different kind of receiver, he's a very good receiver. Plus, you've got Sterling Shepard, and Evan Ingram, to me, is really the X factor. When he was healthy in the second half of the season, especially down the stretch, when Odell was out, the Giants averaged 28 points a game. I think offensively, they could be pretty explosive. But the question is, Eli might be playing really well, and they might be scoring points. But if they don't stop anybody and they get knocked out of the race, that's when the decision is going to be difficult to figure out when you put the rookie quarterback in and start grooming him.
Bob, we saw Eli just basically run for his life last season with that offensive line.
Last couple of years.
Yeah, last couple of years, definitely. With this offensive line, the Giants have made it a point to make enhancements to it so that Eli is more effective. And even with him running for his life going back to last year, he still threw for a career high in completion percentage at 66%. So with that enhanced offensive line, and you had to see it on the field, as you mentioned, you're hopeful that he can have a stronger season at quarterback, right?
Yeah, I definitely do. And you know, we sit in the studio or in the film room and we watch a lot of the throws, and he can still zip the ball in there, and he still makes all the throws that you have to make to be successful in the NFL. Obviously, the win-loss record hasn't been what the team and the franchise had hoped for, or the fan base, and he knows that falls on him, and he knows that he's got to go out and elevate his game even higher. But I think for the first time in a long time, it looks like this team has a chance to be pretty good offensively. And again, when your quarterback can trust the people in front of him, and it looks like they could be really strong at the guard and center positions where he's not getting that pressure on the interior of the pocket, I think this team can really score a lot of points and move the ball this year. And they're going to have to help protect their defense.
I completely agree with you on the offense. You know, you really feel like there'll be stability on the line that they haven't had in many years. And then you have Saquon Barkley, obviously, and Tate was a nice pickup as well. But, of course, as you mentioned, the defense will be part of this question. But somehow that will impact the offense. And it leads me to something I've been asking just about everybody. And obviously you're a perfect person to ask as well. You did allude to it, so let's go back to it. What happens if the defense hasn't been good enough? Even though the offense is cruising, Eli looks good, but the record's not where it wants to be. You get to December, do you stick with Eli and just let the offense stay together, or do you give Daniel Jones those snaps at the end of the season?
Well, I mean, their plan is to stay in this thing, but once they're mathematically eliminated, you have to think that no matter how great Eli's playing, Daniel Jones is going to get an opportunity to play. You drafted him with the 6th overall pick in the draft. Now, some of it depends on how Daniel Jones progresses during the course of the season as far as his understanding of everything that's going on and how he's performing in practice when he gets his opportunities. But I think until this team is mathematically eliminated, if they are mathematically eliminated, if Eli's playing well and the offense is scoring points, he's going to stay out there. And I know his motivation is to make the Giants have to make a decision in the offseason as opposed to making a decision during the season.
Bob, 1 week away from training camp officially opening for the Giants. What's that atmosphere going to be like heading into training camp? We talked about Eli, Daniel Jones, his defense, so many new faces on that side of the ball. So break down that atmosphere of what we can expect and what you expect for training camp for the Giants.
You know, there's a level of excitement in the building that you can feel all throughout the offseason. Listen, they've taken a lot of arrows. There's been a lot of critics about where they drafted Daniel Jones, the trading of Odell Beckham Jr., and some of the roster moves that they've made, starting with the decision to not bring back Landon Collins. So there's a lot of chips on people's shoulders. I mean, Peppers wants to show everybody that he's as good as Landon Collins and he can help in the return game. They've upgraded their special teams. They've added a lot of team speed and youth. And I think there's a real enthusiasm right now, almost a, hey, you're counting us out? You're saying that all these moves that we've made are not good? We want to prove you wrong. So I think there's that chip on the shoulder, and that's usually when the Giants seem to perform their best is when everybody's doubting them. But this is going to be a team that is going to play the underdog role to the hilt.
For more great videos from the MSG 150, check out right there. And remember, our show is on Monday through Thursday, 8 to 10:30 p.m. on MSG Network and MSG Go.